Hello everybody and welcome to the face reading of the people in the news. For those of you who are with me today for the first time, if you get interested in the subject of face reading, you can watch my YouTube Introduction to Face Reading. You can also buy my book, Face Reading Secrets for Successful Relationships. It is available on Amazon.com and also on my website, drpeterreznik.com. Today I will be talking about Malcolm X. His original name was Malcolm Little. His Muslim name, after he converted to Islam, became El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, though he is mostly known as Malcolm X. He was an African-American leader and prominent figure in the Nation of Islam till he was murdered by the members of the Nation of Islam. Malcolm X articulated concepts of race pride and black nationalism in 1960s. Whether one agrees with his ideas and methods or not, it is undeniable that he was a powerful figure in the movement to liberate and encourage his people to fight for freedom and justice. I'm doing this reading because someone asked me to do it, and when I read the request, I thought it was a good idea, because reading about this man's life and watching a movie about him made a great impression on me quite a while ago. And here he is, Malcolm X. He did not live to celebrate his 40th birthday. Now, as I think, Dr. King was also assassinated at the age of 39. I think I need to do a reading on him as well. But let us start with Malcolm's temperament, the inborn characteristics which are embodied in his profile. If we look at his photo, this one, he's clearly a sanguine. The tilted forehead, the protruding chin, the typically sanguine jawline. But if we look at this picture, though still a sanguine chin and the heavy sanguine jaw, we also can see that his forehead is somewhat, though tilted, is rounded here. Roundness, of course, tells us that Malcolm X was a sanguine with a bilious forehead. That roundness is the bilious roundness of the forehead. We recently did a reading of a man with a sanguine profile, but a bilious forehead, if you remember who it was. This guy, Wim Hof, the Iceman. It looks like he was a sanguine, but you see on a different picture the round forehead. And that makes the whole difference in how he operated in the world. Wim Hof is alive, so how he operates in the world. So what do we know about a sanguine temperament? They're very physical, express themselves not by contemplation or writing, but through action. They're muscle coordinated, love sports and competition, territorial. Remember, their animal prototype is a lion who always guards his territory. They're courageous and generous. If they love you, they will give their life for you. If you cross them, they want to take your head off. They usually have short attention span, a short temper. They get easily bored, so they need constantly to invent new activities. They're great communicators. Remember Ronald Reagan, typical sanguine. He was called the great communicator. They know how to inspire people and to prefer to lead people not through just talking, but through personal experience. But with the bilious forehead, Malcolm X, unlike your typical sanguine, was able to concentrate, had a much better attention span, and did have the patience to pursue his goals deliberately and in an organized manner. But not through his natural inclination, like if he were pure bilious, but through the will the round forehead, through the will that he possessed, which was really a bilious will. Particularly that he had this feature, the cleft on the chin, and the meaning of it is that he had a great sense of self-importance. Now let's look at Malcolm X's personality, which is embodied in his face. Interesting, when he was a young boy, his face was really you probably guessed, the moon, meaning a dreamy, somewhat indecisive peacemaker. But once he matured, and what age is he here? Maybe 18 or 20, he really becomes a Pluto. This is very clear. And as you know, the most qualities of Pluto are those of Mars, but in an exaggerated manner. So let's first remember what we know about Mars. All sanguine are action-oriented. Within the phases of sanguine, Mars are the most action-oriented. They do not have the patience to address the issues. Instead, they fight to get their way. But remember, Malcolm X, actually, even though he was courageous and willing to fight, because of the bilious forehead, he did have the patience to wait and plan when needed. But mostly, Pluto still would rather fight than negotiate. The Mars take risks and are accident prone because they cannot foresee the consequences. They have the courage and the generosity so common among all the phases of the sanguine temperament. But contrary to the Mars personality, who often move from relationship to relationship, from one project to another, the Pluto are extraordinarily loyal. And from what we know, Malcolm X was a loyal husband, loyal friend, and loyal to his cause once he chose a path. Unlike Marx, who do not have patience, the Pluto have the perseverance to learn how to do many things. And that is also true about Malcolm X. He was a scholar and a tireless educator. Interesting that his face/personality did not change at all till his death. He assumed a certain persona, a way of being, and lived it till the last day. As I'm looking at these photos now, I see this handsome, intelligent, determined man, particularly from my perspective now. He died at the age of 39. Really, I'm 66. He died at 39. It's really a young man. And I'm wondering what would happen to him if he had lived longer, and how he would impact other people around him. We'll never know. And in terms of morphology, I'm not surprised that with the Pluto personality, the courage and loyalty, but also the bilious intellectual stamina, and also inspired by the ideas of freedom and integrity, he would become a formidable threat to those who were interested in power and control. Sadly, nothing changed since then. We are living in the days when the same conflicts are displayed more than ever. And this is all for Malcolm X. Thank you for being with me today. Peace to all who want to live in peace.